Welcome to another edition of Get to Know the Wayne State football program for the 2019 season. I'm Sports Information Director Jeff Weiss, and joined today by D-line coach and recruiting coordinator Scott Kazmierski. Scott, thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Looking at the roster for this year, you've got almost a dozen guys with college experience over the last couple of years. That has to excite you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think as you look at it from the last couple of years, this is the most depth we've had in quite a while in all the positions up front. So it's a great thing. There's high expectations, obviously, with all the experience we've had, and I know the guys are looking forward to hitting the field running. With that experience, they know what to expect. They kind of know how the season will go, and so they're looking forward to it.
Let's start out at the D ends. Obviously, you've got guys who have bounced back from injury to play. You've got Jalen Lewis, you've got Terry Sanders, Brady Beans had some injury. You had a true freshman, Jacob Mask, who came on strong last year as well. So talk about those guys.
Yeah, this is a great group of defensive ends, and obviously you mentioned Jalen right off the bat, and he's a guy that looks great right now, really healthy. Was banged up a little bit last year, came back towards the end of the season and finished up the season really strong. And so he's going to be a guy that we're counting on for leadership, and he's a phenomenal football player. And so that's a great piece to have right there. On the other side, with Terry Sanders moving from linebacker to DN, has worked very hard at really grasping the position and learning it. Has come a long way, had a great spring, and really made huge strides. And he works every single day, and so we're extremely excited to have him there. He played a little bit in some packages last year in it, and really excelled well. So having him there is a great bonus in addition to move him down and have him as a defensive end now. Jacob Mass, again, like you said, played last year, got his feet wet a little bit, and did really well, and had some success. And he's put on weight from last season, gotten stronger, gotten bigger, long frame, long body, and loves the game of football and plays it the way it should be played. And you say play it the way you look at Brady and Justin Rao as well. I mean, those two guys have played a lot of football here, and to have those guys in that DN mix as well, they're very talented. Brady and Justin play so hard and relentless, and so it's a great group to have back. And again, a lot of experience there, and really only one senior when you look at it. So it's a pretty good situation to be in.
And obviously, you can rotate them to keep them fresh because, like you said, a lot of them play with a high motor.
Yes, absolutely, and that's always the goal: keeping guys fresh and keeping them running around, at a high level. And so, there'll be a lot of rotation and moving guys in and out, and keeping guys fresh, and different packages that we're going to be able to do within this group. So it's extremely exciting. Like I said, the expectation level's high because there is a lot of football and a lot of snaps there. But I know they're ready to rise to that challenge.
I know having guys, you talked about Terry has moved from safety to linebacker to DN,
yes,
and Justin kind of did the same, linebacker to DN. Sean Banaszak goes more from DN to D tackle, so obviously that helps the diversity, being able to play multiple positions.
Absolutely. Sean does a phenomenal job because, number one, he's learned both positions very well, and in really different games and different periods of the game, putting him at 3 technique, he does a great job there, and then moving him back out to end, he's excelled out there. Played him a lot at end this spring, and moved him in at 3 technique a little bit in the spring as well. I see him playing both again like he did a year ago. He does a phenomenal job and really understands both positions. A guy that plays with a high motor, very tough. And so it's always great to have a guy that you can kind of bounce around a little bit. And again, that adds a little different dimension and adds some matchup, things inside and outside. So
obviously inside you've got Taroka Battle, you've got Kenny Cephas, you've got J.P. Morris coming off a redshirt year. So you've got a lot of depth at defensive tackle as well.
Yeah, and again, another group that I don't know if we've had this much depth there in the past. And Damani Green's another one there at nose tackle who, came in last year, got his feet wet, and as the season went on, excelled. And at the end of the season was playing at a very high level. He has improved a lot this offseason, having a phenomenal offseason, and will add a huge impact in there at 300-plus pounds. We got a bunch of guys. You said Ken Cephas, 295, played a lot of football, strong, physical, and he played last year. Obviously Taroka going into his senior year, great expectations there, had a great offseason, has been a very solid football player for us for the last 4 to 5 years and done a great job there. And then J.P. Morris, who has great hands, great athleticism, very fast, explosive off the ball. We've seen what he's done in the past, and so we're very excited about him as well.
You mentioned Damani at nose tackle. You've also got Cameron Judge back, and you picked up Charles Ellington from the, I guess, the now defunct Malone football program. So even more depth with experience because
Yes.
Charles played as a true freshman for the Pioneers.
Yes, he adds great size. I mean, he's obviously 300 plus there and over 6'5". I mean, he's just a big human being and does a great job in there. Very strong and powerful. So we're very excited about him. And then Cam Judge, like you said, who has played a lot of snaps for us as well. And the thing that he does a great job of is he plays so low and he understands leverage and he's very physical and very tough. And so you look at that inside group, I could imagine throughout the course of the year, there's going to be different guys starting just because of the competition. And again, keeping guys fresh, moving guys in and out of there is a critical part of the game because you can keep guys fresh and battling away inside. So it's an exciting position.
I can tell by the
I can't stop smiling looking at all the numbers and the guys that we're expecting great things out of this year.
And then obviously you've got a lot of young guys that you redshirted last year that maybe this is a enviable position for them because they don't have to be counted on, that they can just kind of fill in. You've got the Daniel Knights and the Athletic Jones and Kofi Kimbrells and people of that nature. Then obviously recruit-wise, you brought in a number of guys, Jared Short, Kane Quinlan, McKinley Underwood, Damon Duncan. So you've got a lot of young guys that aren't going to feel the pressure that they have to perform right away.
Absolutely, and that's always a great thing to have with the incoming freshmen, knowing that we can kind of evaluate them and see where they're at, and if they're ready, obviously that may change some things, but if they're not, they don't need to be. And then you look at, like you said, the guys that were freshmen last year with Daniel Knight and Athletic Jones and Kofi, and those guys have obviously gone through their first year, really developed, really done a great job in working and trying to understand and master the position. They're a fun group to coach, so obviously going into camp, we'll see where they fit, and again, I expect a lot of movement in this camp. That's the great thing. It adds a lot of competition, and those guys could easily compete and fight for a spot, with those older guys. So, it's going to be fun in camp to be able to evaluate this and see how this all works out, but it's a great situation to be in as a coach.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again for watching this edition of Get to Know Your Wayne State Football Program.